Okay guys, I hope you guys watched the introduction video. It was like 3 minutes long. It's just an idea of what we're actually doing in these problems. But on this video, we're gonna do numbers 1 and number 3 on the worksheet that's your assignment for the week. So this is number 1, same as in the last video. And basically, hopefully you watched the last video, understand that this top equation, all the x's and y's that satisfy it are just a line. This bottom equation, another line. We as algebraists are just wondering where are these things gonna intersect, if they're gonna intersect at all. And even though it might say, well, wait a minute, there's an infinite number of solutions for this one, infinite number of solutions for this one, and we got to find the one that they have in common. It's going to take forever. Thankfully, because of kind of the power of math here, we can solve for it fairly easily. And so I have a little 3-step process I tell kids for these problems. So again, write this down, please. The notes, which I'm going to put up in a second here, I posted on the YouTube video. So if you just want to copy them from the description page, it's fine. But basically, guys, my general strategy here, I want to get one pair of opposite coefficients for one variable. I'm going to talk about what that means when we actually do the problem. I then am going to combine the equations and solve for the variable, solve for the other variable rather, and then I'm going to sub back in and solve for the other variable. So basically, we can't really get both variables at the same time. We kind of get to get one and then get the other. So these 3 little steps will be in the YouTube description. It's just a little blueprint I like to follow. Once you get good at these, you don't necessarily need to check it every time, but it's a little blueprint I like to follow. So with that said, either pause the video and write this down or just check it on the YouTube page. Let's do number 1. So yeah, homework this week, guys, is 24 problems. Seems like a lot, but I'm gonna do a few for you on the video, and it's the only worksheet for the week. So this is number 1. Step 1 on the notes. The notes said we want to get an opposite coefficients. What opposite coefficients mean? The 4 coefficients we have are the -4, the 4, the -2, and the 8. Do you see how -2 and 8, they're not really opposite? If I said, what's the opposite of 8? You'd be kind of stupid to say -2. They're not opposites. However, -4 and 4 are opposites. So because they're opposite coefficients, we're good to go. We don't need to manipulate this at all. We're good to go. And as an aside here, guys, elimination is just one of a couple ways of solving these. Whenever you see the variables like lined up like this, usually it's elimination. But anyways, I see a -4, I see a 4. We have opposite coefficients. We're good to go on step 1. Step 2 said combine equations and solve for the variables. So let's do that. So let's combine the equations. I'm going to just combine them. What's -4 plus 4? What's -4x plus 4x? 0x. The x is canceled. And I'm not even going to write 0x. They're just completely canceled. Okay. What's -2y plus 8y? We're just combining the equations. Well, -2 plus 8 is +6. We're going to say 6y. Okay, what's -12 plus -24? If I'm 12 feet underground, God forbid, and I go down another 24 feet, I'm going to be 36 feet underground. Then, again, following the notes here, we're just going to now solve for the variable. So here, divide both sides by 6. I got y to be -6. Pause here. This only works because we had opposite coefficients. If we didn't have opposite coefficients, we just added these together, it wouldn't have worked at all. But basically, we're trying to get this equation of 2 variables into an equation of 1 variable, which is pretty easy to solve. So anyways, opposite coefficients, we combine the equations. X is canceled, we solve for y. Step 3 on the note simply says, once we have 1 variable, we're going to go back and solve for the other variable. What I mean by that is, we're going to, given that we know that y is -6, we're going to plug that into either equation. I usually tell kids to plug in the equation with the least amount of negatives to avoid screwing up. So I see the second equation only has 1 negative way over there. I'm going to plug it into that equation. So what was, and I like rewriting it. You don't have to do this. That was our equation, right? And wherever you see a y, I'm going to sub in -6. And I'm just going to solve that on my own. You should pause video now and you should solve it on your own as well. You should be able to do this. So basically here, guys, because I knew that y was -6, I subbed in -6 for y on the other side. I just did 8 times -6 is -48. Again, hopefully you're not copying down what's on the left side of the screen. I'm not sure. whatever. Hopefully you're not just straight copying that. That should be, you should be able to do algebra 1 by now. And we're done. That's the 1 point on the graph where the 2 lines would intersect. Are they all that easy? No. Sometimes you have to manipulate it, and we'll do some of the harder ones in another video. But in this one here, we're kind of done here. So with that said, guys, let's do example number 3. So here, this is number 3 from the worksheet. I only have 10 minutes to make the video. It's 5.5 already, so I kind of go. So just pause the video and write this down. I'm not going to allow wait time here. Same as I did before. We want to solve this. Whenever I see they're kind of on top of each other, I know I want to use elimination. I'm looking for opposite coefficients. Well, x and 2x, they're not really opposite. However, negative y and positive y are definitely opposites. Because I have a pair of negative opposite coefficients, I'm just going to combine the equations. X plus 2x is 3x. The y's cancel. Again, I need opposite coefficients. X and 2x are not opposite. I'm not going to get rid of the x's. Negative y and y are opposites. I can then combine the equations, and negative y and y just cancel. Okay, so here, 3 times something gets me 30. What does that something have to be? Probably 10, right? So I know x is 10. And now I've got to solve for y, because I have x, and now I got to find y. And again, visually, this is a line. This is a line. Our question is, where do they intersect? Or how many times do they intersect? And if they do intersect at all, let's find out where they intersect. So we know that x is 10. I'm going to sub 10 into either one. I'm just going to choose the top equation. You could do either equation here. So again, I'm going to use the top equation. If you want to use the bottom equation, we'll get the same answer. I'm going to sub in 10 for this x. Different ways to solve for this. To solve for that y here, I'm going to be kind of a long way. I'm just going to add y to both sides, minus 11 to both sides. You could do this a different way as well. All right, pause here. So again, I'm using this equation. I know that x is 10, so I just subbed in 10. I then have the goal of trying to get that y by itself. I did kind of a long way of getting y by itself. There's probably other ways of doing it. And we're done. So in the next video, we're going to look at some harder examples. I would say 1 and 3 and 2 and 4 are kind of easy. They just do get a little bit more difficult, but we'll learn how to do those in the other video. But again, the general idea is, guys, you want to go compare opposite coefficients, combine them, solve, and solve. Okay, and again, visually, this is where the lines intersect. So hopefully those aren't too bad. Yeah, I'll see you in the next video.